Yeah, no, I have a mic. I was just trying to buy some time. I usually keep muted if there's no one in the chat. Thank you for joining the stream. I am currently, well, struggling writing stuff for this guide. I kind of feel blocked today. I don't have many ideas. I finished the final stat block of my campaign. Was the secret final boss. Even I'm scared of what may happen to my party. Of 5 level 17s. Wow, that's a high level campaign. Okay. That's I never played the campaign to that level. May I share with you the stat block so you can tell me what you think about it? You may get inspiration. Oh yeah, sure. I'm always interested in crazy stat blocks and stuff. It's always nice to discuss ideas from other DMs. I assume you are a DM in the campaign. A Google Drive link. Very suspicious. Is it gonna be something super fucking fishy or is it gonna be like a legit link? No, I'm super scared. Like I'm super scared. I mean, looks like a legit account. So yeah, okay. You know what? Why does everybody say that? I mean, it's you never know what you find on on people's Google Drives. The Ultimate Dark Lord Magus. Wow, the artwork as well. Nice. Did you find it around? Did you commission it yourself, or looks very nice? You wish to fight me then? The bitter black wind begins to howl. Ooh. So armor class 21. Okay. 500 hit points. Well, since this guy is supposed to be the final guy, I'm assuming so. Yeah, why not? Fly 40 feet, levitation. Does he have to use something? Because 40 feet flying is a lot. I mean, I understand it has to be kind of difficult, but like, I mean, Arakokras are already broken with their base flight. Passive levitation, okay. If you like this one, I have a folder with every secret boss encounter if you'd like to see them, because if you think there's one, you didn't see nothing. I didn't say it's creative, I'm just reading through the thing, but yeah, again, sure, just share with me the things. It's always nice to see ideas. I still don't feel confident enough in my balancing abilities for encounters to just create stat blocks from zero. So yeah, that might be cool. Hit points 500. Okay, we were saying. Okay, the stats. So +5 dexterity, +8 constitution, +7 intelligence, +5, +4. I mean, it makes sense. It's that this is pretty much the stats someone could have potentially at the end of a campaign. You're playing at level 17, you said, so yeah, why not? Immune to being charmed, frightened, paralyzed, poison, stunned, unconscious, petrified, and dominated. Okay. I'll get back to the immunities later. I want to see what this guy does, because you still gotta give some options to your players, you know. So, traits. Legendary Archmage. Magus casts all of his spells without material components. Spell is gonna resistance to magic. Spell save DC is 21. I mean, yeah, he's not a specific class, so I guess he doesn't have really spell casting mode. But it's usually best to clarify how the DC is calculated. Usually, like, you want to know if the 21 comes from charisma or wisdom. You know what I mean? So I would just clarify that. And I mean, honestly, putting a trait only for this is a bit overkill, because basically can cast spell without material components. I mean, you can give him an arcane focus or something like that, unless you did this to avoid your players making the arcane focus disappear, which, I mean, would make sense. He goes solo versus the party, no minion involved in a fight. Okay. Mental Judgment, passive ability. Oh, sorry, Void Presence. All enemies within 30 feet have disadvantage saving throws against Fear and Charm effects. 30 feet, that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's 6 squares? That's quite a lot. Basically, it's anyone that is melee. Not even melee, less than melee. 6 squares. You have to use all your movement to get to him, and you're still under the effects. I don't know. It's just that, again, I'm used to low level campaigns. Like I think the highest I ever got was level 9 probably. So seeing this kind of stuff makes me like, oh my god, this is impossible to beat. One time I tried giving a magic boss that did use material components. He got robbed turn 1, never used material components on bosses ever since that. Yeah, makes sense. That makes sense. So you just say, yeah, my guy can do it because fuck you. That's why. Yeah, I feel you. Mental Judgment. At the start of combat, roll 1d10 to determine the active damage type that bypasses Magus' magical mantle. Ah, okay. So that's okay. Magus becomes immune to all damage types except the one rolled. After each time he is successful damage by an attack or spell, roll d10 to switch to vulnerability. Yeah, I was going to suggest this. It would be nice to make him switch vulnerability. That's super cool. That's a very nice idea. If the result is the same as the current one, reroll until a different type is selected. Fair enough. While active, Magus is immune to all other damage types not currently selected. Yeah, okay. This is a suggestion maybe that I could give you that could make it interesting for players. Depends on how good you feel you want to be with your party. But it could be nice to say, to set some additional thresholds based on the hit points of this guy. Like when he's full health, he's got only like 1 vulnerability. Then you roll a second vulnerability when he reaches half HP, like when he's bloodied, and then when he's almost dying, he's got the third maybe. Could be nice to make you know, the start of the fight very, very difficult for the players, like by not giving him any kind of vulnerability, and then make it progressively easier the more damage you do, because you have to find that one, and so they have to coordinate. I think it would be a good reward for the players for coordinating and for, let's say, solving the puzzle. Just an idea. He really doesn't have any legendary actions nor anything like that, and that's more than enough to say thanks at this level. Yeah, okay. Fair point. Action, Sight of Doom. I literally just gave a Sight of Light to one of my players in the campaign that we are playing at the office 1 week ago. Plus 10 to hit, reach 5 feet, 1 target, okay. 3d10 plus 5. What's the average on 3d10 plus 5? 3d10, oops. I hate other team. Plus 5. Roll. This is another thing on the stat blocks. It's nice to have the average just because. But I mean, if you don't use it, it's fine. 21.5. Yeah, okay. Fair. Target must succeed on a DC 20 Constitution saving throw, or have -2 to attack rolls until end of its next turn. I don't know. You could go a bit heavier here, like either because DC 20 Constitution is very high, but it gives you what's the Constitution modifier at these levels usually? I'm assuming the +5, +6. So you could either make the DC a bit lower and punish it a bit more, like because -2 to attack rolls, I don't think it changes much at level 17, honestly. Like even if it succeeds, it doesn't really do much to you. Although the damage is pretty okay, so I wouldn't know how to balance this one, honestly. I think I would make the DC either the DC a bit lower, keeping the -2, or make it a bit higher and punish more. I don't know. Special spell abilities. All enemies 60 feet. I mean, these are kind of legendary actions. It's just spells that... So I'm assuming these are not like actual spells. It's just stuff that he can do. Like, it doesn't have any spell slots, or is it just a recap of what he can do? You're the first one that ever tells me to debuff the site. Everyone else told me to buff it. Yeah, but that's me as a DM. I am a very easygoing DM. I don't like to put too much pressure on players. Mostly because, admittedly, I'm used to play with new players. I never had a veteran table yet, so I usually go very easy on people that are barely starting, you know. Barrier 1 target grants resistance to all magical damage for 3 turns. No concentration. If I don't know. Yeah, because okay, these are just damage types. It's not really magical. I feel like there's a bit of an overlap though. Because basically, like what my reasoning for a fight like this is, you know, resistances, immunities, and the likes, they are not really resistances or anything like that. They just make your initial HP pool higher. Basically, it's like a barbarian. Barbarians, you know, when they're raging, they take half damage, but taking half damage means effectively you just have double hit points. So I wouldn't lean too much into these kind of mechanics because they don't really add anything. Like, to me, they don't add value to the fight. They just make the boss a sponge, and the sponges are usually not very fun. Like, what I like to do with bosses or even important fights is to make like some kind of puzzle around them. The point is not to defeat the bad guy or to defeat the big guy. The point is to solve the puzzle. And until you solve the puzzle in the fight, you're never getting out of the fight. So, for example, one fight that I had a while ago, there are some creatures that have to be killed. I don't remember the name. They're even pretty low level. They're not that difficult. But basically, what they do is they have to reach 0 HP with fire damage. Otherwise, they respawn on the next round. And that's the whole thing. And when you put them together, they are super annoying because maybe it was Sturge. Let me see. Oh no, these guys are the ones that are sucking blood. Nope. I don't remember the name, but anywho, that was the general idea behind the mechanic is you don't really have to just kill all the guys. You have to kill them with fire damage, and I dropped some hints about this before the fight started. They found some burnt stuff around the room they were exploring. They saw there were signs of a fight and stuff like that. So that's what I like, how I like to build the fights usually. So again, this is just personal. It's not for this boss in specific. Just don't lean too much into resistances and immunities because again, you're just making the HP pool bigger. It doesn't really add value to the fight, to me at least. Doesn't make it more interesting, you know? Because again, you have resistance to magical damage for 3 turns, so the players will be like, okay, we're gonna find some other type of damage in the meantime, and that's done. And for the damage types as well, this is more interesting because there's more variety, to be honest. But again, they'll know, okay, now this round the cold damage is allowed, and they will just keep spamming something that does that type of damage, and that's it, you know. So I would lean also into the environment, into the type of map that you're using. It can be a very interesting fight if it's this guy alone, but it has to be more thematic. I would say it has to be some more how to say, baseline idea, like something that he does. Like what's the the fundamental mechanic of the boss of the fight, and then build everything around that. Because for example, all the saving throws, they do damage and they give you disadvantage on attacks. Wow, disintegrating effects. I didn't read this one. This is a lot, to be honest, but it depends on how bad you want to be with your plays. But Jesus, okay. For example, this changes the type of damage, which is okay. It's cool, but what does it add for the players as a challenge, you know? Because if they do have specific vulnerabilities to the type of damage, then it can be interesting. If they don't, then it's just something that, yeah, okay, he can do it, but then what? I would revisit a bit. And again, this is just my idea. It's not like you should do it. It's a pretty solid fight on its own. If it's this guy alone, totally. I'm just trying to really find something that you could maybe try to add to him. And to me, I like the thematic of the elemental damage that changes. So you could, lean into two ideas, I would say. Like, the first idea could be that maybe for the round he is like, maybe he changes, like he's, instead of being this guy, he's, imagine it as an elemental. Okay, he, first round he is a fire elemental, so he is resistant to fire damage, and he gets vulnerability to cold, but he also does fire damage. Second round, everything swaps around. He changes type and he becomes a lightning elemental, and he does lightning damage, and he is vulnerable to, uh, I don't know, thunder, because sound moves air. I don't know, just an example. And he does the lightning, only the lightning damage. So instead of having 3 spells, it's got 1 spell that changes damage. Or you could do the other way around. So the round where he's resistant to fire, he does cold damage, and the round where he is resistant to cold damage, he does fire damage, or something like that. I don't know, but that could make him a bit more solid as an idea, I think, like from a design perspective. Oh wow, you wrote a lot of stuff, sorry. He's literally the equivalent of the final boss of the post game, so he's supposed to be able to give a long battle. Okay. No effect on save, so it's either almost certain death or nothing. Okay, that's fair. If you want to go for that, yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy secret bosses are even worse, so that makes a lot of sense. Dark Lord's ultimate attack, Dark Matter. Spell save, dex save DC, 14d10, plus 14d10. Dead enemies leave shadow echoes. Magus has advantage versus within 10 feet of an echo. Okay. This is just a question, just to clarify. Like, is these dead enemies leave shadow echoes like always active, or does it start when he uses this ability? Because if the shadow echoes are like a thing he does, this should be like in the beginning, like he just drops shadow echoes, and then that thing changes with this effect of having advantage on enemies. And also, I'm not sure if you want to just give him advantage, because like most of the stuff he does is spells that require saving throws. So like giving advantage to this guy, like he doesn't really have a weapon either. Oh no, he had the sight. Sorry, I'm brain farting. We literally said it like 5 minutes ago. But I mean, realistically speaking, how many times do you think he's gonna use the sight instead of the spells that do, you know, AoE damage? I would give him something else than just a simple advantage. Maybe you could, maybe instead of echoes, like again, I'm still leaning into the idea of the elemental warrior. So it's not what you were going for. So it's just my idea of how I would do it. But instead of shadow echoes, maybe you could think about making the minions or dead enemies or whatever drop, let's say, motes, like I don't know if that's the correct word. English is not really my first language. Sort of like little shards, basically. That's what I wanted to go. Yeah, motes of light, like shards of some type of. Imagine them like crystals, okay? So it drops crystals, and instead of being 10 feet from a crystal, if you are in between 2 crystals or you are in proximity with them or whatever, they will chain and amplify the effects of whatever spell this guy is using, right? So, for example, if he's using the lightning spell, the shards of the crystal could chain the damage, like damaging all the people that are in line with the crystals. The cold damage could, yeah, that could be easily an AoE attack that also slows you down, or maybe you have reduced movement speed as long as you are close to one of the crystals. You could say that the fire damage, that's an AoE effect, and the spell does the first explosion, right? And then the next round, the second crystal explodes in the line, and the third one, so that you are also forcing the players to move around, not to just spam attacks and spells from wherever they are. You want your players to still move around to feel like something is happening. So that could be another idea, because if I know that the crystal next to me is going to explode next round and I'm in front of the bad guy, I have to choose if I want to keep hitting the bad guy or if I want to run away and save my skin. But also imagine the bad guy is, I know he's got like 10 HP left or something like that, but also I might die because of the explosion. So do I want to just give him the final hit, or do I wait for the next round? That could make it more interesting. I think fights, especially important fights, should still kind of be part of the roleplay. They should still have choices that matter. That's my point. I know it's not easy to do that. I'm bad doing that myself, but I don't know. I think it could be a cool idea. I sent before the link with the other secret bosses. If you manage to see, yeah. I saw a second link. I'll go through it because now I'm hooked. I'm super hooked. He's designed both as a solo boss and a companion boss. Okay. Yeah, because that's what I was also noticing is dead enemies leave shadow echoes, but you said there are no minions, so either you put minions, like very stupid minions like swarms or something like that are going to leave the shadow echoes or crystals or whatever, or if you want to have him as a solo, my computer almost died. If you want to leave him as a solo boss, you could also yeah. So basically all these spells are area of effect, right? So you could say that this guy, like the boss, Magus, whenever he casts a spell, he leaves behind a crystal or shadow, whatever, in the square he was at, so that also you can exploit his movement speed, right? Because he's got 40 feet passive levitation, so he can move a lot. That's 8 squares every round. So basically he could, cast a spell, leave the crystal, and then move around the arena, and then cast another spell the next round, and then he's basically placing all the crystals in a strategic manner to be able to then chain the effect of the lightning spell, for example, to take the whole party, or to make the explosion more effective because more people are in a bad position for those, again, something that makes the arena more interesting, more alive, something that makes the boss also feel smart. Because if it's only one guy spamming spells, it's one guy spamming spells. If it's one guy that is positioning crystals around the arena and you don't really know what they're doing, and then you realize, oh fuck, it's gonna chain the lightning against us and stuff like that, then it can make it interesting. Because then again, once I figure how the lightning damage works and they chain all together, then you switch to cold and you're like, oh my god, what is cold going to do? Because I don't know, that didn't happen. So you can make the fight, again, still long, but interesting. It keeps a little bit more spice, a bit more zest. Let me check the other ones now. I want to. I'm in full critique mode today. Again, I hope it's clear it's nothing personal, nor I'm not saying that it's bullshit. I'm just giving suggestion on how I like my stuff. Okay. The artworks are really nice. I really like them, honestly. Also, I hope none of your players are watching, because that would suck. Why does this sound familiar? Oh, Chrono Trigger, yeah. Obviously. That folder there is for parties that are for level 20 or higher. You go to higher level than 20. Wow, okay. Like, you mean for people that have like the what they're called, the heroic thingies. Oh my god. D&D over level. How are they called? I cannot, my brain is not braining today. Not the subclass. Oh. The heroic feats, I think. I don't remember, but you get what I wanted to say. Just give me 1 second. Okay, we were saying. And obviously the number is in the intended order in which you fight them. Chrono and Luca are the first two. Big on scammer, yeah, exactly. Okay. So secret 1, secret 2, secret 3. Nice. Let's see. Okay, armor class 18, 210 HP. Imagine someone crazy enough to actually roll 20d8 just to give the specific, precise hit points to this guy. And you do it at the beginning of the fight, just to make it more annoying. Common Celestial Legendary Resistance, twice a day. If Chrono fails a 7th throw, he can choose to succeed instead. Okay, pretty classic. Traits, Flash Tap. Can take dash or disengage action as a bonus action on each of his turns. Okay, so yeah, so he's basically kind of the rogue. Zormaster techniques. Chrono's weapon attacks count as magical. Okay, his katana deals radiant damage in addition to its base type. Okay. Arc of Light. At the start of the combat, Chrono unleashes a radiant aura for 1 minute. His melee attacks deal an additional 1d6 damage. So this is for the first 10 rounds of the fight, which is fair. I mean, 10 rounds are actually quite a lot during a fight. It doesn't look like. We start with many limitants, but then the further the battle goes, the less limitants they have. Okay, interesting. Special techniques. Each cost a number of technique points. Okay. I see what you did here, okay. Which Chrono starts with a pool of 10, recovering 1d4 plus 1 at the start of each turn. Okay. They cost 2, 3, 4. Okay, I think it's fairly balanced, honestly, because the lowest one is 2 TP and basically this is the only one that it can actually use every round, because it's gonna be at the very least 2 TPs for each turn. Okay. Spin in place. Nice. Strike all enemies within 10 feet. 10 feet. Within 10. Do you mean like 10 feet radius or 10 feet diameter, like 5 feet on his left and 5 on his right? Because that changes a lot. That really changes a lot. Like, I think 10 feet radius would be way too much because that's 20 feet radius, 20 feet diameter. That's too big for melee. Um, but then again, it's a boss, so I mean, sure. Radius from Chrono. Yeah, I figured. It was. I was just. How to say? I was just really questioning if it's the radius or diameter, but yeah, okay, radius, fair enough. If you wanna go for that, absolutely. Then again, I want to restate that this I'm used to low level campaigns, so this looks like a lot to me because I like if I put this to on my players, they will die after like 2 seconds probably. Also because admittedly they are not the best tacticians on the planet, but that's a whole other conversation. Windslash. 3TP, unleash a horizontal wave of energy in a 30 feet line. 5 feet wide. Okay, dexterity DC 15, 46 radiant damage, half on success. Okay. Okay. Strike a single target with a bolt of energy. Dexterity save DC 5d6 lightning damage. Is this like DC 15 denies or halves? Because it's only 5d6 lightning, so I'm assuming it denies if you save. Okay. You're looking at what I consider the easiest out of them all. Okay, cool. Jesus. Powerful overhead strike, melee weapon attack, +8 to hit. 4d10 slashing, critical hit range increases to 1720. Okay, fair. Lightning, massive electric burst to all enemies within 60 feet. I assume this is radius as well. Raised NTP, revive fallen line with 1/4 HP. Frenzy, attack one target 4 times in rapid succession. Okay. +10, +8 to hit, 1d10 slash damage. So it's like basically 4 like it's 1 attack and 3 extra attacks. Like just to understand if I understood. They just happen on the same action, but it's actually attack and 3 extra attacks. Okay. Cool. Luminaire, once per day. Radiant divine light in a 40 feet radius. Save DC 17, 8d10 radiant damage, half on success. Undead defense rolled with disadvantage are blinded for 1 turn on failure. Honestly, I was going to suggest something like this. Since the whole theme of this guy is going for radiant, I would play a bit more into the blinded condition. I would lean into that because right now he can potentially do a lot of damage, but again, it's not bad. It's just that to me it's way more interesting to put some specific conditions, some specific puzzle, quote unquote, to solve for a fight. And the blinded condition or something similar could be something like a thematic you could play for this boss, because it restricts only to undead and fiends. So I mean, I don't know the composition of your party, but I would assume almost no parties would be undead or fiends, so that's the only time blinded comes out. I don't know. I would try to, especially when there's a save DC, I would put some kind of maybe conditions, some drawbacks, like a spell-like effect basically, instead of being damage only. Because also when when you are blinded, you basically disable a lot of the spellcasters, and you disable also melee and ranged fighters, because they literally cannot see, so they have to just go at random. And you could make the arena a bit more interesting based on that. Oh, so wait, sorry, I thought this was only one guy. Ah, so they fight together? Like, okay. Wait. I was getting ahead of myself. Still, stands the fact that could be nice to have the blinded condition a bit more consistent across the block. He's a hybrid between melee and magic. Yeah. It definitely sounds like that. And as an idea, it's not bad at all. You could maybe check the Blade Singer to see if you find anything interesting that you could put on this guy. I think the Blade Singer could be like, not that you have to forcibly copy paste, but just to have some inspiration. Because that's basically what he's doing. So what are Blade Singers doing? Proficiency. I mean, more AC. Advantage on dexterity. You have walking speed increased. Gain a bonus to any constitution throws. Extra attack song on defense. You can directly match also damage. Blade song is active. When you take damage, you can use a reaction to expand one spell slot and reduce the damage. This could be nice to put on this guy, honestly. Just, you just tell him, yeah, you do damage to the guy, but he's absorbing it. The only problem is that this works on the spell slots, because you reduce the damage by an amount equal to 5 times the spell slot level, so you should find a way to readapt this into the boss if you don't want to give him spell slots. Song of Victory, you can add intelligence modifier to damage of your melee weapons attack while your blade song is active. Again, just suggesting, just throwing random ideas. And Luca. So if I'm understanding correctly, these two should fight in combo. Okay. I'm like a 16, 180, 30 feet. Okay, TP recovering 1d6 plus 2, so a bit more, okay. Flamethrower, starting strong. Unleash a team of stream of fire, 30 feet line, 5 wide. Okay. 2d6, like it's basically like the breath weapon of Dragonborns. That's, I mean, for 1 TP, that's more than fair. Hypno Wave. Psychic Pulse. Wisdom save DC 14. Each creature within 30 feet from Luca, except allies, must succeed or fall asleep for 1 minute. Save and end of the turn ends on damage. Okay. This is nice. This I like. Because there's, the drawback of the sleep, and these are the things I like to do in battles, in combats. Targeted burst that can be launched up to 60 feet. I am not sure what this does. Like, I'm not sure if I'm understanding correctly. Like, does it mean that it's like I'll call it a grenade launcher, just to give the idea that she can target any square up to 60 feet radius, and if she chooses to hit your square, then you roll dexterity DC 15 or take 5d6 fire damage. It's like fireball. Okay. Napalm. Explosive vial launched into a 20 feet radius. Dexterity 16, 46. Ignites the area for 1 turn. Any creature that starts to turn there takes 2d6 fire. Okay. Protect target creature or self, gaining resistance to all non-magical physical damage for 3 turns, no concentration. Fire 2 unleashes massive fire eruption in a 60 feet radius. Ready for Luca. Dexterity 78 fire damage. I mean, I would make it 88 because why not? Megaton bomb. Launch up to 60 feet of slow burning heavy explosive creature in a figure must succeed the DC 17 or take. Oh, there's the 88. 2d6 standard damage, half on save. Yeah, okay. Now I can see how these two combined could be very fucking annoying because this guy is very annoying in melee and she's basically like, you know, doing a historical reconstruction of the Vietnam War. So yeah, that they can work together. Why not? Where was I? Wait. Flare. An overwhelming burst of plasma flame. Each creature within 60 foot of Luca must make a Constitution DC 18. On a failed 10d10 fire damage and blind until the end of next turn. On a success, half damage, no blind. Okay, Jesus, that's okay. Once per day, so yeah, she uses this thing like. It was also blinded until next turn only. I would make it some turns, maybe not a full minute, but only until end of next turn. I don't know. Like she can use it only once a day. Give the girl some, you know, something fun. Traits. Look against advantage on saving throws against spells that effectively would confuse her priorities or force random movement. Okay, that's a very specific wording, but I can see why. Flame Mastery. All her fire-based spell ignore fire resistance and treat immunity to fire as resistance instead. Okay, I see. So instead of having the half on resistance, okay, so fire resistance is ignored and immunity becomes half damage. Okay. Scientific adaptation. Once per turn, when Luca deals fire damage, she can reroll 1 damage die. Dual techniques. Oh, that's how to use. Caution able to act. Both must spend required technique points. Counts as magical attacks for physical components. Firewall. Oh, these are the actual. Okay. Cyclone filter. These are the. Ooh, this is a cool idea actually. This is very nice. 20 foot radius center of Chrono. Dexterity 15. Each enemy in range takes 46 slashing, 46 fire. Half damage. Okay. Chrono spins with the fire running, burning, slicing nearby foes. Fire sword. 4/2. 1 creature with melee or Chrono. Melee spell attack by Chrono. 3d10. Look and use nosebleed with magical fire. Wow. Fire sword 2. Okay, dashes and alert so it can touch it. Okay. Okay, double boss fight. That's that sounds like actually very cool. I think I might want to play this one. What do you think about the first duo? So, reading them separately, yeah, there are some things that could work better, but since they are designed to be played at the same time, I can see the idea, I can see the appeal, and it's actually very nice. It's original. The two things I'm worried about are, first of all, I mean, they both have their own special techniques, TP based, right? But I feel like in the end, with the dual techniques, you will probably end up using these ones pretty often, right? So maybe I would actually go a bit more all out on the dual techniques. Maybe I would put only two of them, like one for Chrono, one for Luca, and I would make them cost way more, but do way crazier stuff. Like I would consider try to see them as player characters. If you have a dual technique, you want it to be very impactful. You want it to cost a lot of your resources, but you want it to be a game changer. So again, maybe I would just give one to Chrono, one to Luca, and make them really nasty. And they can, something that they can potentially use only once or twice if they're super lucky with recharging. But I would make the dual technique something that your party will be like, oh, something big is coming. Like, I don't like that. Because otherwise it feels like with this kind of stat block, I personally, I would probably go most of the times for these techniques, because they don't cost. Maybe I would keep the Fire Sword too, because 12 and 8, that's a lot of cost. But the other ones, I don't know. And the second thing, before I forget, is that Luca is 100% fire damage, which is, I understand it's the thematic of the boss, but what if your party finds a way to disable fire? Like, what do you do then? I mean, probably you just don't allow that kind of stuff at your table, but yeah, I don't know. Like, it's true that she's got the ignore fire resistance and treat immunity as resistance instead. But I don't know, players can and will find ways to break this kind of stuff. So this is just more a personal concern. Take into account that double tech uses both turns. Okay. I mean, it makes sense because it's a double technique. So they would just use one and then end there. So for example, let's try with the practical example just to see the, let's say, damage output, right? So I've got Cyclone and Flamethrower. I use both turns and I do 4d6 plus 4d6. So let's say 8d6 for simplicity's sake. So 8d6 average, right? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. 86. Analyze. Average 28. Okay. So that's the average for one round. But let's check the Cyclone. Where was it? It was 2TP, so it's 2d8 plus 4. So 2d8 plus 4. Azerty. So average is 13. While the other one was Flamethrower, I think. Let me check again. Yes, Flamethrower. And that's 2d6 fire damage. The average is 7. So um, the averages are very close because if you sum, this was 7, the other one was 21, 28. So yeah, like potentially you can do more damage, I guess, because you roll more dice here. So still, I would maybe try to give them only like 2 techniques that are really good instead. Because again, we are still talking about a level 17 fight, so they should be able to take something like that. In the harder version of Luca, Flare takes up to 20 TP2s rather than 1 per day. Okay. That's fair because she can still recharge potentially. Okay. Next. $1,595. Frozen Grace. Yeah, I'm not even following the timer anymore. I'm just reading stuff here. Okay. Frozen Grace. Marlin grows difficult terrain caused by ice or water. Any creature that hits her with a melee attack takes 1d6 cold damage. Okay. All allies within 10 feet have advantage on death saving throws and recover 1d4 HP when healed. 1 additional, okay, good. By Marley spells. Temporal Momentum. If Marley uses haste on herself, she can act thrice on her next turn instead of twice. Only on her first turn after casting haste. Let me read that again. If Marley uses haste on herself, she can act 3 times on the next turn instead of twice, only on her first turn after casting haste. Okay. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Just the wording was throwing me off. I don't know why. She can cast the following abilities a number of times per long rest. Spells use spell save DC 17, 9 plus 9 to hit for spell attacks, okay? Ice at will. Range spell attack, 5d6 cold damage, target speed reduced by 10 until end of next turn, okay? Ice 2, 3 per day, 60 radius. Fail, 68 cold damage, slowed, no reaction, speed halved. Okay. Until end of next turn. Success, half damage. Alright, will, 1 target, restore 2d6 plus 4. Oh, it's different from... Okay. It's... So she can have it always active? Like, because... So, what I understand from the traits is that she's got this stuff as passive. Basically, these are passive abilities. While spellcasting... Okay, I assume that all of these are going to cost 1 action, I suppose, because there's no bonus action or anything, so I'm just assuming that they are all action. So casting Aura will cost 1 action. Okay. Okay. Cure 5 per day. Restore for 4d8 plus 6. Okay. Cure 2, 6d10 plus 10. Oof. Okay. Arise. 1 creature within 6 feet that was incapacitated due to hitting 0 hit points in the last minute. Do you want to be that restrictive? Because then your players will be like, yeah, but they hit 0 hit points, or they were incapacitated just because I don't know, I did something. So I would just leave it as that was incapacitated. Actually, incapacitated is a specific... Is it a specific status? Wait, because maybe I'm confusing with Pathfinder, which could happen. This is just me being very pedantic. Don't mind me too much. Where is it? Aha. Can take actions or reactions. Yeah, I don't know, just the conditions that you're applying, because you're saying the creature 1 has to be incapacitated and 2 has to be incapacitated due to specifically hitting, well, reaching 0 hit points, so I don't know. I would try to revisit this with a different wording. It's just like, I understand what you wanted to do, it's just not clear for me, if it makes sense. Effect, revives one creature at full HP, removes all negative conditions, cannot be used again until a long rest. Okay, fair enough. Allure, 2 per day, 1 creature. Become charmed until end of next turn. Okay. 3 per day, haste, gain +1 AC, advantage dex save, extraction on each turn for 3 rounds. No concentration required. Okay, so basically that's what the meaning of this is. She can act twice, only on the first turn after casting haste. So she will have 3 rounds total as normal, but the first round will have 3 actions, okay, makes sense, while the last 2 rounds will have 2 actions as normal. Okay, I see. She's pretty solid actually. Like I see the idea behind. Basically, like she wants to be a healer that cannot be, or you should not be touching too much, because usually you want to 7 actions total. Well, haste. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Like I was saying, you usually want the casters to go down first. Like as a player, not as a DM, but as a player, you want to hit the casters first, especially the healers. And this lady is a bit more difficult to actually take down as a healer. Very nice. Jumping Knight. Yeah, I mean I'll skip the stats. I just want to see the traits and the good stuff. Glenn can breathe on air and water. He has swim speed and can fight effectively in aquatic terrain. Okay. Heroic presence. All allies within 10 feet of Glenn have advantage on wisdom saving throws, and that saves. Okay. Blade of Cyrus. Glenn's sword attacks are considered magical and deal an additional 1d6 radiant damage on hit. Multi-attack, makes 2 melee attacks per turn with his Hero's Blade. I mean, why not 3? Why not 3? Maybe he's got broken damages, but why only 3? Why only 2? So +9 to hit, 5 for each, 1 target, 2d8 +4 +1d6. This is just a clarification question. Is the 1d6 radiant damage from the Hero's Blade just because he's got the Blade of Cyrus, or is this going to be a 2d6 radiant damage total? I'll have my answer once you come back. Sad. Super sad. Oh, welcome back. Yeah, I was checking the rest. He looks interesting as well. The only two things I'm not sure about are so the aerial strike, that was okay. Frost squash. Ah, yeah. So I like the idea of adding the soaked condition, let's say, and so they are vulnerable to lightning, but he doesn't have lightning damage. So either you have to put forcibly one of the other bosses together, or you have to make the arena itself somehow electrically charged, which could be fun. Again, nothing wrong with it. It can be funny. Uh, I just don't see this condition applying that much in a fight with these two guys. So it would be nice to actually make this a bit more meaningful. And the other thing, yeah, this is not because I'm not convinced. This is just I don't understand how it works. Because for the other two guys, you had spend the required use of technique points. In this case, required use of the ability, but there is no ability specified on, like, doesn't say which one they have to use. That's just, again, me being pedantic. Do you like the detail that each of them have their very own font? Wait, what? Honestly, I'll be super honest. I didn't notice at all. I didn't notice the font. I'm not one of those people that notice the font differences. Ah, yeah. Okay. That's cute. That's nice. Why not? I mean, I usually start crying and screaming when I see two different fonts in the same in the same page, in the same document. But yeah, I mean, what the hell? Why not? They're just D&D characters. So yep. But yeah, again, then the only thing that was not very clear about this is just what kind of ability do I have to use for them. Yeah, with Gillen it's quite obvious. Yeah, it's a big change. But with the other ones, I literally didn't notice anything. Which is weird, because again, I usually start crying when I see different fonts, but... Cool, do we have... Ah yeah, there's a third fight. Machine of Hope. Subjects with fires, okay. Action, ranged spell attack, 60 feet, 3dc, d10 force damage. Oh, it just starts with the... okay. Heal beam, okay. Target alive within 30 feet. Laser spin. All creatures within 15 feet of roll must make dexterity. All creatures, so allies included. Fail take 3d10 necrotic or half. Robo tackle melee, weapon hit, bludgeoning damage, target my strength or be knocked prone. Nice. All allies within 30 feet. Oh, and he can use it every round? And heal everybody? This is a lot. We go 48 plus 15, that's a lot. It sounds like a lot. $48 plus 15. 48 plus 50. That's 33 HP for each ally, so it doubles or triples even potentially. Like, because if this guy is going to be in a combo with the second guy that I still have to get to, that means he's gonna heal 66 HP each round out of 275. So let's say 300 to make it more simple. Say 12, 18, 24, 30. That's 20% HP heal each round. That's a lot. So this one, I would either nerf the healing or not make it an area of effect, because this is a lot. This might be actually a lot. But then again, it's true that he uses the action and then doesn't have really anything else to do. That's also a thing. Rapid Fire Fist. 8d6 force damage. You can split damage across 2 targets within 15 feet of each other. Ooh, nice. Okay. Very cool. Proximity Bomb. All enemies within 10 feet of Robo must make dexterity. Takes 6d10. Half damage. Robo can choose to delay detonation until end of his next turn. Huh. Okay, this is a cool idea. This is a cool idea because you don't tell the players. You just tell them there's a bomb now. And then you just watch them freak out until the next round. Electrocute. All enemies can see in constitution saving throw. Aha, okay, now the lightning damage kicks in. This is not attack till. Ah yeah, but the lightning damage was on the other guy. On the frog. Maybe you could move the Robo with the frog, and let's see what this lady does. I'm sorry if I call them Lady, Robo, and Frog, but I have to admit I never played Chrono Trigger. A lot of people told me I should because it's a great game, and I don't. I won't question that it is a great game indeed. I just never played it, so I don't really know the names by heart. Immune to frightened and charmed conditions, regain 20 HP at the start of her turn if below half. Fair, okay. Primal Fury. When Ayla reduces a target to 0 HP, she gains advantage on attack rolls until the end of next turn. Very nice. Unstoppable Momentum can move up to double speed and make an additional attack on her turn. She's got 3 per combat. Kiss at will. Restores 4d8 plus 6 HP, removes 1 condition. Roundy low kick. Ayla leaps and delivers a spinning kick. Chuck Norris style, okay. Plus 10 to hit, 4d10 plus 5. On hit, that was my dog shaking himself. On hit, target must succeed on a DC 16 strength save or be knocked prone. Okay. Actually, the frog name is actually Frog. Wow. Well, see? How lucky. How lucky. Actually, everything was planned from the beginning. I was faking it. I know all the names by heart. Especially Frog. Because it's easy to remember. Where was I? Ah, yeah. The kick. The roundhouse kick. On a hit, target must succeed DC 16 or be knocked prone. Okay. Fair. Cat attack. One enemy within 5 feet. A savage flurry of claws and fangs. Okay. Slashing damage. Target must succeed 15, consider save or begin bleeding. You see, this is what I was saying earlier on for the other boss fights. I would revisit a lot of the abilities, not only with the damage they do, but also some kind of drawback. It can be a minor inconvenience, okay, like something like, I don't know, you've got, I don't even have ideas right now, but you get what I mean, like something a bit more like this, like something you can engage with, something that gives you some actual drawbacks, potentially until for 1 turn, 1 round, like, you know, something minor, but still something that impacts your ability to fight. Boulder Toss. One enemy of large size smaller within 10 feet. Idle grabs and hurls the target. Strength save DC 17 or be thrown 20 feet. Take 6d10 bludgeoning damage. Success, nothing happens. Okay. I mean, I would allow this to be also maybe a dexterity, because maybe you can decide to avoid it by being agile. This is just a suggestion on a DM level. Like it, I see why it is strength, but why a rogue elf shouldn't be able to use dexterity for the save, you know. Target creature 30 feet. This is 17 charisma or be charmed until the end of violent next turn. While charmed this way, the target cannot take reactions and gives Isle advantage on checks to disarm, steal, or distract them. Okay. Very cool. This is nice because not only it's charm, but you actually force to use the action to give advantage. Okay. Tailspin. All enemies within 15. Each creature must make DC 16 dexterity. Fail 5d10 bludgeoning. Push 10 feet. Half damage not pushed. Okay. Prehistorical Rage. Slams the ground with her fists. Unleash penalty damage is based on her missing HP. Ooh, this is cool. Above 75, 60, 10. Between 50, 75, 8d10 force. 50% in. Also, it becomes more powerful the lower the HP goes, okay? And targets have disadvantage on the save. Whoa. And she's got this once per day. You know, just for you as a DM to have fun, I would put this at 2 eyes per day. Because otherwise, once per day, it looks like it just does the thing. Like, players wouldn't be able to understand the mechanic behind it, so I would put multiple uses per day for her. Maybe even 3, because... or maybe, just maybe, this could be legendary actions or of sorts that trigger automatically once the threshold is reached. I would nerf them a bit for the damage, because it gets pretty high pretty quickly. But honestly, this is a cool mechanic. This is something nice to have in your combat, and if players cannot understand it, it's useless. Like at that point, why bother with the thresholds if you are gonna use it only once a day? Like what the players will see is that this lady at some point she did like 10d10 force damage on an area of 60 feet. That's it. That's what they see. While if you give more uses, like if you give 1 use for each threshold, then they will understand, oh, okay, 6d10, then it's like, ooh, 8d10, and then like 10d10, so it's become, they will understand it becomes more and more powerful, you know? So I would revisit this one. I would actually suggest you to revisit it to make it a bit more narratively interesting. Either again, more uses, or just get rid of the uses and make it something that just happens at each threshold. I think it would be way more cool for the players to say, okay, the lower her HP goes, the more damage she does. I don't think most players would catch on that, like, wait, it did less damage before, that's unfair. Well, yes, but that depends on your descriptive abilities and skills as a DM. Like, you don't really have to only say the damage. You can try to find a way to describe how she becomes more powerful or more desperate as her HP goes lower. I don't know her lore in the game, but you could try to tie in a piece of the narrative background into this mechanic maybe. Because it's basically like barbarians. It's one thing is you say I rage, and one thing is you describe how your internal fury makes you psychologically way more prone to just ignore and shave off the damage and shrug off the damage instead of suffering like you would normally. Maybe you can describe it as a rush of adrenaline. You can describe it as her muscles becoming more muscly. I don't know, whatever. But the descriptive part is something you can solve. Like it becomes, well, thank you for the follow. And I was saying the descriptive part is something you can solve as a DM, and you can make your players catch up with what's happening, you know. And if they think it is unfair, well, I mean, it's the mechanic of the boss. It works like she becomes more desperate and she does more damage. But at least you would give them a chance to understand, because that's D&D to me is all about giving a chance, giving a choice, giving the possibility to understand something. Then if it gets ignored, if it's not interesting, if it's whatever, for whatever reason they don't catch up with it, it's fine, it's okay, it's part of the game. There will be dungeons, like entire rooms that you will throw away because they will not explore them, but at least they should have the chance to, you know. It's a game all about choices and chances. If you don't even give the chance to begin with, then yes, they will never catch up with the mechanic. But if you give them the chance to, then somebody might understand. That's my, again, personal DM philosophy. It doesn't have to apply to everybody, but that's how I like to play my campaigns. To be honest, I like you because you're the one of the few DMs that actually are checking everyone. Oh, that's cute. That's nice. I like to talk about D&D a lot. Like sometimes even when I even when I'm not alone, but I talk with my dog about D&D. He gives me great suggestions for combats before going back to licking his balls. But yeah, those are very interesting conversations. But no, seriously, I like to talk about it. If somebody asks me some ideas, feedback and stuff, I'm super happy to discuss it, because again, it's a game all about creativity, and talking with someone else always kind of unlocks something. I think when you speak with other DMs, that's how I learn stuff from more experienced people that have been DMing for way more than me. I ask them questions. I ask them, how would you do this? How would you design this fight or this boss or this dungeon? And they always have something to tell me. So yeah, I just like to have that kind of conversation. Triple kick. Let's go. One creature within 50 feet. Rapid combo. 3 melee attacks. Each hit deals 2d10 plus 5 bludgeoning damage. If all 3 kicks hit the same target, that creature must succeed DC 18 Constitution saving throw or be stunned until the end. Okay, that's nice. So, this is again just me being pedantic about the wording. It's nothing wrong with the ability. I like it as a general idea. This is just, do you mean that if all 3 kicks hit the same target, do you mean she can hit 3 different people with the triple kick, or that all 3 kicks have to hit in order to trigger the saving throw? Because I think I understand what you mean, just to make sure. All 3 kicks have to hit to trigger the ST. Okay. But she has she still has the choice to just hit different people. And like if she hits, like let's say all 3 melee attacks hit, but they hit 3 different party members, then in that case I would assume, because the condition is the same target, I would assume that even if all 3 kicks hit, the saving throw doesn't trigger because it's 3 different party members. That's how I understand it. Okay. Says only one target. Makes sense. Both Robo and Isla must be conscious and able to act. Ah yeah, Boogie. All enemies within 60 feet, Robo and Isla. Each enemy has 60 DC. With the same throw becomes load for 3 rounds. Oh, okay. Target resists the effect. Spin kick. Lift toward the target, there will be a synchronized paralleling strike. Melee spell attack. Melee spell attack. Okay. 6d10 bludgeoning plus force damage. 50-50 split. Eh? Ah, okay. So like it's that, like depending on the total will be split half bludgeoning damage and half force damage. Okay. But why not make it 3d10 bludgeoning and 3d10 force damage? I just want to understand the reasoning. Like, I know it's different. Why the choice of making 6d10 bludgeoning plus force and then saying it's 50-50 split? Or is it just because you wanted to write it like that? You can do it both ways. Okay. Like, I know sometimes I ask dumb questions. It's just that to me, like, wording in D&D sometimes is super awkward. And I spend so many sessions discussing rules with my players because, oh yeah, but the rule says this and the wording is that. And so now I have, like, PTSD every time I see a phrasing that is slightly off. I'm like, what do you mean with that exactly? Because I know from experience that kind of stuff comes biting you back in the ass at some point. Because you will always have that one player that says, oh yeah, but last session when this exact condition applied, the things went differently. That's a very fun conversation to have at the table. So Beast Toss. Grapple stagger while Robo Power up. Kinetic Booster. DC 18 strength saving. Hurled 40 feet, takes 10d10 bludgeoning plus fall damage. Stun until the next of its next turn. Target takes half damage and isn't stunned. It cannot target creature larger than large size. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, oh, that's true. Regarding these two bosses, actually, I've noticed they both have effects that move the party. They move the opponents, which is a very cool idea. But being moved around 10 feet doesn't make much difference to somebody. So one thing I would suggest you for this fight specifically is to design an arena specifically for these two guys, because it would be interesting to make the movement of like being pushed or pulled 10 feet more impactful. It would be nice to have either some traps that are evident on the battlefield, and if you step on them, you trigger some kind of effect, and if you are being pulled and pushed, in that case, towards a trap, it makes a big difference. Or some kind of trapdoors maybe that have, I don't know, spikes that come up from the ground, stuff like that, stuff that actually makes people very aware of their position in the arena. Like I was saying earlier for the movement and the crystal guy, either you want to force your players to move around, or you want them to think a lot about their positioning. It's one of the two things to me. Like, it's either you have to keep moving because the arena keeps changing for some reason, or you have to be very cautious about how you position yourself. If you position yourself on the east side of the opponent or on the north side, it will make difference because the opponent might push you over a trap, it might push you over a fire pit or something. And so you're like, do I want to take the risk, you know? So I would build up on this, because this fight I like it as a combo of characters, but I feel they need to have an arena for themselves that actually makes the movement, the pulling and the pushing a bit more impactful. Or maybe I'm confusing it with the frog now that I think about it. Wait, because I started talking about stuff and yeah, no, okay, I'm confusing it with the frog probably. because because this lady can push and the frog could pull as well. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. But still, I mean, now I want to build an arena like that. Just fix the secret dual techniques thingy. Can you F5 and confirm? They've already been beaten, but may think about that for next time. Yeah, yeah, why not? I don't know which one, but I'll update the whole thing just to be sure. You know, actually, I'll do the super secret technique of control refresh, because that's usually even better. Just a good old hard refresh. Was it on Secret 2? I think it was on Secret 2, right? Blah, 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 blah. Ah, yeah, yeah, okay, okay, I see the costs now. Yeah, yeah. One charge of ice, one charge of water, one charge. Okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. And okay, so those were all the bosses. So ideally, I wanted to end the stream at 8:30. So basically, now for me. But since I'm liking the conversation, I can just stay a bit more. It's not like I have a lot to do tonight anyway. I just usually like to end the streamings a bit early, because then I have also an adult life to take care of in the morning, which means work mainly. By the way, that because now we started with all the stat blocks and stuff, but if you want to hop on the stream again sometime, I've got my whole Twitch schedule here on my channel. And well, my normal schedule is on Tuesdays I'm writing Romeo's Guide to Heroic Bites. It's like a cooking system basically for D&D, based on flavors, synergies, and actual well, let's call it kitchen roleplay with some world building elements as well. It's in very, very early stages. Then on Wednesdays I write short stories based on prompts that I find on Reddit, mainly just to train the creative side of storytelling, you know, and especially my English as well, because sometimes I find like it's very clunky. Then Thursdays I'm programming DM tools in Notion. If you are ever interested in that, then I've got my prep time on Friday because I'm playing a pirate campaign on Saturday. And then usually Saturday mid-afternoon, if I don't have anything else programmed, I just pick up something, one of the themes basically. On Sundays I usually write short stories again in the morning, and in the afternoon / evening I play video games. This still says Baldur's Gate 3, but I think I will start Expedition 33 this Sunday if you are interested. So yeah, this is just to promote a bit what I'm doing. And oh, you wrote some stuff. Those basically have triple tags, which are absolute strongest. Check out the triple tags, one with the long name. The one with the long name. So it was number 3, right? Wait, was it this one? The triple tag. Wait. Yeah, the lady and the robot. It's this one. Into the fall. Okay. At first looks impressive, but it's doable, I promise. Okay, so we know this lady already. 1d10. Wait. Her regeneration of her TP regeneration is buffed here. I think it was 1d8 in the other, or am I misremembering? Starts turn that takes fire damage for attack. Okay, so basically it's a bit more like there's more damage for the DCs that you fail. Okay. Oh, it's the 3 guys together. Jesus Christ. This is this is a lot. Okay. Yeah, triple technique, Omega Flare. Let me see. Sì. È bello. Sì. Sorry, my dog is requesting attention. Sì, bellissimo. Sì. Triple technique, Omega Flare. Luca Robo Magus. Luca expends 20 TP. All 3 must be conscious, may be used once per minute. So once every 10 rounds, okay. I mean, they can, I'm pretty sure they can get to that in 10 rounds. Effect. Area within 100 feet. DC 19 Constitution on failure. Take 8d10 fire, 8d10 necrotic, and 5d10 force. Blinded and silenced. Cannot cast spells with verbal components. Well, you cannot. Also, you can cast spells that require you to see your target, technically speaking, until the end of their next turn. Half damage, no additional effects. Yeah, it's interesting. The only thing is, if it has to be the Omega Flare, why only make it like 1 turn? Because basically this is just a way to make the party skip 1 turn, which is admittedly that's a lot if you're fighting these guys. But yeah, okay, no, it makes sense actually until the end of the round, because it maybe somebody can save, somebody can fail, they can help each other. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I solved my own doubt. On success, half damage, no additional effects. That's fine. Okay, this is that's cool. I really like the idea of combining the attacks. That I think it could be super nice to let the players do that as well. I only gave her faster MP regen so they can use the ultimate. If you ask ChatGPT for a strategy for the tree, it will tell you to focus on robots so they can't heal. They also have different dual techniques since they're different people. Okay. Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Do you mind if I save this folder? Like, not download the files, but if I save this folder into my DM material? Because I've got stuff that I fetch around the internet just for inspiration, and these are actually very good ideas. So thank you. I'll add the shortcut because I've got so many folders in my images. So it's DND5E DM material. Yes, nice. I've got so much stuff going on. I should clean my drive at some point. But yeah. Nice. Very, very nice. If your players die, it's on you for abusing TOP abilities. I mean, it's gonna take a while before we get to these levels. Like the campaign I'm running at work right now, they just hit level 5. And I think we're gonna finish by the end of the year. And I don't think it will go over level 12. Most probably it will end at level 10, 11. Maybe if we play a second campaign that starts from there, yeah, why not? But this campaign will end at pretty mid-range levels. You can check out the other dual and triple text. Ooh, we've got more. We got more of that. Is it always the same file, or? Because this one, I figured that was the only change. Yeah, okay. Ah, yeah, because we changed the combo, so yeah, it makes sense. Okay. Both user must be conscious. Okay, fire rocket punch effect. Push 10 feet away. Okay, this becomes a very nice combo because Luca, she had the ability to set basically the terrain on fire, right? And Robo can push people onto those tiles. So that's a very fun, I think, mechanic for a fight. That can be very, very cool. Let's see, Girls' Night. So that's Luca. Then we have the princess. Ah, okay. That's what you meant with Girls' Night. Oh, Jesus, this is a lot of abilities. Yeah, because it's all the combination 2x2, okay. Melee spell attack on hit. Okay, bludgeoning plus fire. 17 fire plus bludgeoning. 3 melee spells on each hit, 2d10 plus 3d6. Charmed 3 turns. This is a lot, but also it's 2 ladies, so it makes a lot of sense. 66 plus 4d6. Iceberg Toss, 8d8 plus 5d6. Okay. On fail, also blind until next turn. And if you... what if you save? Is it denies or halves? I would assume halves, but again, it's always nice to be specific for those. Triple technique. Poyozo dance. All enemies within 60 feet must make 20! This is 20 wisdom, okay. On a failure, the target becomes stunned as a confusion spell, no concentration lasts 1 minute or until they succeed a repeat save at the end of the turns, okay. They also take 68 plus 68, okay. Bypass resilience unless explicitly immune to both Force and Psychic. Okay. which is a very difficult combo to have because like force and psychic damage are super rare. Although I think I don't want to say fixed, but they changed this in the new monster manual. Pretty sure there are more monsters that that do force and psychic damage. Also classes, they changed a lot. Like the monk does force damage instead of only magical damage. On a success, half damage, not confused. Okay. This is pretty solid. Sounds interesting. So we have Chrono, then the Frog, and Robo. Okay. Oops, too much. Where are you from, by the way? I didn't ask. I usually ask where people are from because I'm trying to understand if only people from the US are connecting at this time, or if I managed to get somebody from Europe. Spanish. Oh, okay, okay. Very nice. Very cool. Do you stream too as well? Because I see the tag in your name is YT. Is it because you have a YouTube as well, or? Let me see. Sometimes. I mean, in that case, I cannot promise I will always follow, but I think a follow is due. And if I ever catch your stream, I'll be sure to say hi. So we were saying dual techniques. Both user must be conscious, okay? Supersonic spin. TP chrono, laser spin on enemies within 60 feet. 66, 46. Okay, I'm just gonna check the ones that have conditions because those are the interesting ones usually. On fail, targets are stunned until the start of next turn. On save, half damage, no stand. On hit, 60-10. If both attack hit. Oh, because it's melee spell attack by both, target must make DC 17 Constitution save or stun until end of next turn. Okay, fair enough. This is slashing and cold. Lightning and force, half damage. Each enemy in line must succeed in line. Ah, yeah, because it's area 30 feet line, 5 feet wide. DC 16 dexterity save takes 6d8 bludgeoning damage or be knocked prone. Bubble breath, melee, force cold damage. Succeed on a strength save or be restrained until the end of next turn. Okay. So you have prone, restrained. Cure wave removes all negative conditions. Wow. Okay. All allies within 60 feet. Triple technique. You have Shadow Slow Splash on enemy. All three strike in sequence. Each makes a melee spell attack. On hit, each one deals 2d10 plus 4. If all three attacks hit, the target must succeed on a DC 10 Constitution save or be stunned and blinded at the next. I mean, fair enough. If you get hit 3 times by this guy, you just kind of deserve it. Cool, cool, cool. And they have pretty good modifiers to their attack, so... Well, let's say we have another 10 minutes because I want to go to, to sleep basically at some point. Also, I have to finish some stuff for the night. But what are you playing? Like, are you playing a campaign, or what rating from 1 to 10 would you give overall? I really have to think about it because I don't want to be judgmental, or I don't want to be too harsh, because the ideas, as I said, the ideas behind this are really cool. But on the other hand, there are a few things I spotted that I personally would do differently. And again, it's just a matter of your playing style. It's not, there's no right or wrong in D&D, I mean. But overall, I would say it's a solid 7, because the ideas behind the taking the characters from Chrono Trigger and giving them D&D rules is very cool. They kind of work. What is missing to me, I feel for now, is more specific ideas behind each one. Because the idea behind two characters combined together, that is pretty solid. They work good together, but if you take each boss on its own, there is no really a mechanic line that says there's no mechanic the player can associate to the boss specifically. So they kind of are a bit generic, and it would be nice to have one boss that does one thing, mechanically speaking, that synergizes with the one that you are combining the boss with. And the third point is, I really feel like they all these combinations, they really need arenas. They really need a map that is built on the combination of the bosses. They really need some kind of terrain that is made to make them shine. Because if you put them just in a flat environment that has no characteristics that the bosses can exploit, then yes, the boss itself is still interesting, but the fight becomes less of the protagonist. You know, it becomes a matter of the boss. I'm fighting the boss. I'm not fighting the combat. I'm not feeling the actual combat of the boss, if that makes sense. Unless Magus, he's the special boy. He's very special indeed. But but yeah, that's my idea. So again, it's very nice actually. Like I'm not gonna lie. It's they're pretty solid ideas to me. Then again, it's just personal opinions. It's just personal taste. So but yeah, I think Magus is again, like, he's the outlier basically, but he could become very interesting with some additions and some tweaks here and there. Could be a very nice fight. I mean, to be fair, all fights in D&D can be super interesting if you put them together the right way, if you put the synergies together. Like, for example, the first boss fight I made my players at the office, like my colleagues, fight was I think it was a Wraith. Let me see if it was the stat block. D&D 5e. Yes, it was the Wraith. So basically I've combined... The idea of the encounter was they arrived to this cultist circle that there's a ritual going on, and they fight the cultists, right? The more cultists they manage to knock out, the more... the slower the ritual goes. But if they manage to take all of them out, the Wraith will spawn with reduced HP or some kind of vulnerability. Like, he's got 67 HP, let's say they spawn with 50, but then the wraith can create specters from the cultists. So I combined the two things together to make the fight revolving around the fact that you should actually not kill the cultists because you have to kill the big guy first. Otherwise, there's gonna be so many that you're gonna get overwhelmed. And again, it's a very simple fight, but it was for beginners again. But to me, a fight in D&D has to be interesting because of a puzzle, because of a specific idea, mechanic there is behind it, not just because they have a lot of HP or just because they have big damage. Then I understand that a campaign at level 17, you're gonna want to have a lot of HP, a lot of damage, because that's basically the only way you can make it a bit more fun for the players, because at level 17 you are just god, basically. You can do crazy stuff. So yeah, also there's that. So there's no real solution or fix to that. You just have to choose whatever style or ideas you like more. Well, you're very welcome. I'm always super happy again. As I said, I'm super happy talking about this stuff. I hope next time I'll have my webcam up and running because mine just abandoned me after moving. So that's why I have this lo-fi spirit session playing in the background. But but yeah, I again always super happy about D&D and swapping ideas and just seeing what other people are doing, because like, to be honest, combats have never been the funnier part of D&D for me. Like they're not the part I enjoy the most as a player. And as a DM, I wanted to still make fights and combats interesting, but I wanted to give them a narrative side, because otherwise it's just, to me, they're just a slog, and I don't like that. But again, my Discord user is Super Foxer. Well, I have to go as well, but yep, thank you for hopping in the stream. I will add you on Discord for sure, and yeah, we'll catch up sometime in the future. So have a great rest of the night.